Good morning, it's Jason here from Custom Cans, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Philips Fidelio X2HR. HR for high resolution, because obviously headphones without high resolution couldn't possibly play fancy music. Everyone knows that. Yeah, it's a buzzword of the moment, isn't it? But anyway, a lot of people have said I should take a look at these, and they look pretty cool. So I'm gonna get them open. They look pretty well made, but we'll have a listen, take them apart. I've also got a pair of DT 990s because I think they're probably both open back in a similar kind of price range, and a lot of people will have heard these and might be interesting to compare the two. Obviously, these are renowned for very harsh treble. These are probably going to be more balanced, but we will have a quick listen. So, without further ado, let's get into this bad boy. This might be slightly confusing because I suspect this video is going to go out just before our Christmas video, and since then I've had all my hair chopped off, so short hair, and then probably in the next video long hair again. It's just don't think I'm a time traveller. It's just how it's worked out. Right, come on. How do you get into this? Hey. Ta-da! Ooh, angled presentation. Nice. That's like nice consumer packaging. Could do away with the plastic. We get, a lot of manufacturers now are getting rid of plastic inserts. They look fancy, but cardboard is just as good and nicer to the environment. So those are the headphones. What accessories do we have? Instructions by the look of it. Delicious bags of snacks. Cable looks pretty nice. Okay, we've got an adapter, cheapy adapter. This is like I don't know. What's this clip do? Is that for holding your cable together? Don't rightly know. If you know what that's for, let me know in the comments. It must clip onto something somewhere. So, what are we looking at here? So you've got like a synthetic leather headband, suspension style strap with springiness in there to support it. So similar to the AKG, but done in a different way with the stretchy material inside the headband rather than attaching here. But yeah, it's probably going to be some kind of elastic in there. Velour style pads, they feel quite firm. This looks like it's got a big chunky screw here, which should be easy, make it easy to come apart. You've got L and R written on the inside, so you get it the right way around, which is pretty good. So cable on the left on these, 50mm driver, so should be able to produce some good bass. You've got proper mesh, a shaped mesh domed screen there. Overall, they look very nice. Is that plastic or metal? This bit might be metal. I don't know. We'll have a look. We'll pull it apart in a minute, but build quality wise, they feel very sturdy. There's not a lot of rattle and stuff in there. Yeah, not a lot of play in the joints. So, plug these bad boys in and have a quick listen, and then we'll pull it apart and see what they're like on the inside. That's interesting. Yeah, very enjoyable headphone. Yeah, obviously it could be very different from the 990. So these are quite a warm sounding. They've got, I think, probably a bit of a lump in the bass somewhere, in the mid bass kind of region. They seem to be, yeah, not as much sub bass, bit more bass, and then the treble is probably rolled off a little bit to give a kind of warmer sound. So if you don't like it when it's too splashy and sibilant, these are quite smooth and mellow. But sound staging was pretty good. It's good separation of the instruments, and yeah, overall very pleasurable sound. I think you could listen to these for a very long time without them annoying you. Whereas the 990s, the treble is very harsh. These pick out a lot more detail, which is why they're probably better for studio use. You can, because of the extra detail in there, you can be able to hear problems with the mix a bit easier, issues, whereas these are, everything's kind of smoothed off and a bit more mellow. But yeah, for home listening, these are probably going to be much better. These are probably a bit harsh, which is why we tend to modify these a little bit. But yeah, it'd be interesting. Let's stick these on the ears of Joy, and we'll see what kind of frequency plot we get. Oh, let me interrupt you there. I've noticed that basically just under 50% of the people that watch these videos are subscribed, so if the rest of you could join in, that'd be pretty awesome. If you could hit like and subscribe, cheers us up, helps us do more videos, that kind of thing. Anyway, back to the what's it. So this is what the graph looks like, and yeah, as I suspected, you've got a bit of a hump in the base at sort of, where's that, around 50-60 hertz, which is what gives it that slight muddiness, and then it drops off quite drastically after that, so you haven't got very much at sort of 20 hertz. And personally, if I was going to tweak that, if I was going to tune them, I would try and bring down that 50 hertz hump and bring up the, take some of that energy from there and bring it up in the sub bass. I don't know whether that's possible, but that's something that I would consider. It's tricky tuning the bass, because sometimes you'll just increase that hump. It might be the resonant frequency of the driver, and you need to, sometimes you can just make it worse by trying to do stuff. Up in the treble, there are quite a lot of dips and peaks. I'd probably again try and smooth that out, find out what's causing those dips and peaks. But yeah, generally the treble isn't much higher than the treble's not as high as it is on the 990s, something like that. Actually, should we do the 990s as well, just so we've got a comparison on the screen? There we go. So if we if you compare it, you can see the mighty treble cannons that the DT 990s are, with a big peak up the top. But yeah, and then the bass doesn't roll off as quickly, so it's kind of flatter and then rolls off, which prevents that muddiness and gives you a bit more perceived detail in the low end. But there is more bass from these, like the bass is considerably higher from those than an unmodified pair of DT 990s. So if you want a bit of that bass, it's better. It's just not quite as good a quality. There's not as much detail in the bass, I don't feel. Distortion, what are we looking at? And not too bad, pretty low, a bit more distortion in the bass area, a bit of distortion around 4.5, 5K. You've got a peak in the distortion on the Philips, but yeah, it's all gravy. So let's see if we can get these bad boys apart and see what they look like inside. So I'm going to start by pulling the pads off. They come off nicely. Oh, they've got a little alignment pin to get the pad on the right way around. It's all marked on there, and you've got left and right pads by the look of it. Yeah, left and right pads, so that's quite interesting. Inside you've got angled drivers. I don't know if you can see that. So the driver's at an angle, which will have helped with the sound staging. You've got some tissue over the top, which will have been there for tuning. A gasket around the outside to help seal against the pads. So nice work there to get the consistent sound. Be interesting to see if they've done the same as AKG, where they use the headband, the metal part of the headband, to carry the signal, or whether they've got a wire, whether these are tubes with wires going through. That might be the case, because I can see these screwed onto this bit. So yeah, interesting to see how they've got the signal from one side to the other. If it's a wire through here, that would have been a manufacturing nightmare, getting the wire down there. So it looks like we've got 4 screws holding the driver in place, the 50mm driver. Yeah, solid construction, nice looking plastics, not cheap looking. Whoop. Let's get this badger open. So what can we see inside? So a driver with the Philips logo on it. It does look a nice big 50mm one. Again, there's a hole on the back which will have been used for tuning. I suspect if we block that slightly, we're going to reduce that bass hump. So that might be something worth looking into for the tuning. Let's get this off. And same size screws inside, which is good. I hate it when they use different size screws unnecessarily, because it means that when you pull it apart, you've got to remember which screws go where. Whereas if all the screws are the same size, you just any screw will do. Okay. Ooh, that felt breaky. That's just a little retaining clip, but then the driver is glued in as well, so it's glued and screwed. So we won't be able to take that driver out easily. What can we see here? So again, you've got some holes which will have been used for tuning in the back here with the tissue paper, so that the sound bounces around inside the ear cup and then comes out at 90 degrees to the sound coming from the driver, which will stop the two from interfering with each other, phasing type thing, and give you kind of slightly better sound staging. It's interesting because I'm doing a similar thing. I'm working on a pair of headphones, and again we've got the driver there and we've got a little vent so that the sound comes back in at an angle where it's not going to mess around with the phase of the main sound. So that's pretty good. Can we undo these here screws? Oh yeah, where does the wire come in? Yeah, I think the wire there must be a wire down that thing. Right, I'm just gonna get a bigger screwdriver. Looks like a screw. Doesn't seem to be undoey. No, I don't think that's a screw. I think it's all glued in place. So yeah, it's more of a design feature than a fastener. Other interesting things, if you look inside the ear cup, you see the curvature here. So there's not a constant radius here, so that because a tube will have a certain frequency, whereas when you roll it off like that, you smear that over a range of frequencies. So that's quite interesting. Again, I don't know if it's a design feature, if it does something with the sound, but it could do. And then inside you've got some tissue for tuning before you get to the metal grill, or it might just be dust protection to stop dust from getting in. But yeah, they seem pretty well made. I don't know if I can get any further in though without de-gluing. So I've just taken off some of the glue. On the inside we've got a little metal washer which I think is holding this on, one with teeth that grips, and then you've also got a little rubber grommet, which is probably why these don't have a lot of rattling. They've got little rubber grommets in there that take up that slack. So yeah, so nice. I think they're pretty nicely built. They sound pretty good. A very enjoyable headphone. I'm sure anyone that's got these will enjoy them. Obviously you can go up from here. Probably like the HE400 SE, which again is going to be slightly more expensive. I think these are around 100. These are maybe 130, but the prices change. So these are going to be in the same kind of price range. I think maybe these might be slightly better, but these are much harder to drive. Like these hardly need any. They're very sensitive. They hardly need any input at all. So running it off your mobile phone or something like that would be fine with these. Whereas the HE400, really you kind of need an amplifier to get the most out of them. So yeah, so overall I think they're well made. They sound pretty good. There's nothing wrong with them. If I was gonna fiddle around with them, which I might do, like the enclosure looks pretty well designed with the flared what's-its and the open back grille, the angled drivers. It all looks pretty good in there. Where I would probably attack it is around the driver, so I would probably try reducing that hole on the back there by sticking a little bit of tape over it, which will bring the bass down a bit, which will enhance the treble. I might also, I don't know, I might have a bit of an experiment with these and see if we can come up with anything, because yeah, I suspect adding a bit of weight always helps with sub bass, so we'd add a bit of weight to the back of the driver, maybe reduce that hole, so we'll bring up the bass using the weight, reduce the muddiness hopefully by closing that hole up, and then maybe some of those peaks and troughs in the treble might be caused by this enclosure. As I said, it would spread it out over a range of frequencies, but that curved section there might be causing one of those peaks and troughs in there, so we might fiddle around a little bit, see if we can see if putting some damping material or some shaped pieces in there might reduce some of those resonances. Trial and error kind of thing really. just try a few things. But yeah, overall, I think, you know, they look pretty well made, and there might be a little bit of room inside for tuning as well. So yeah, so I might give that a go. Just notice, because this outside bit feels like metal, and it looks like they've got a piece of metal over the top of the plastic. So it has got a metal edge to it over the top of the plastic. So that's yeah, it's got some metal in there. But yeah, it's nice. It's nicely designed. Yeah, I think it looks nice and it's put together well. Someone's put a lot of love into this, and obviously it sounds pretty good. I think in the price range, it's pretty good. If you to modify these for balance, that probably wouldn't be super easy, because the socket. Don't know. Should we have a look at the other side and have a look at the socket? See if we could, how easy it'd be to go balanced. Okay, so there's the socket, and you have got 4 wires coming off that. Do you reckon they've used a 4-pole socket? I don't know. Let's have a look. Well, the socket itself looks pretty good quality. Just going to grab a multimeter and we can test that. Right, so the socket itself, I don't know if you can see, has got a metal thing all around it, so it's actually pretty sturdy, the socket, which is quite impressive. I'm just going to test to see if these could possibly be balanced just by changing the cable. No. Nope. So no, you can't run a balance cable on these because both the grounds are linked together. So if you wanted to mod these for balance, you'd either have to go for a fixed cable or change the socket that's in there and rewire them. And as you haven't got a huge amount of room around that area, that would be tricky. You're probably better off just going for hardwired straight in with a balance cable. But because these are so easy to drive, and they're not, you know, not super high end, I don't think balanced is really necessary on these. Yeah, if you've got a difficult to drive headphone like the HE400s, then yeah, balanced will help your little portable players drive them better. So I think there is some modding potential on these, and I will have a play with them after in the new year and see if we can squeeze a little bit more goodness out of them. Because I think there's quite a lot of these out in the market. A lot of people have asked me to take a look at them. So if we did make some kind of mod for them, it would be the kind of thing that maybe we could sell. Because yeah, there's got to be enough headphones out there for enough people to want to mod them for it to be worthwhile making a mod kit for them. If it's a very rare headphone that not a lot of people have got, you know, you limit your market to a certain extent. Yeah, and it might not be worth the time and effort, but yeah, it'd be interesting anyway. I think these have got something to give. I think if we can sort out that hump in the bass, bring up the sub bass a little bit, bring down that 40-50k lump, these would be good. But it might be just a limitation of the driver. Sometimes there's that's just what the driver likes to do, and there's not a lot you can do down in the bass. So yeah, so that was the Philips fidelio. Sorry, I didn't manage to get them completely apart. I didn't want to ruin them before I've had a proper play, and I felt like I was going to break something if I went much further. They're not, you know, like the DT770, 990, that kind of thing. You can strip them down, field service them. These things have got a lot more glue and hidden fasteners and things like that, so it's not quite as easy to pull them apart without breaking something on the first one. Once you've broken the first one, then you know how they go together, and you're right from there on in. But yeah, anyway, I hope that was vaguely interesting. I quite liked having a look at these, and these, I think they're pretty good. Yeah, I think good value for money. Definitely worth, you know, if you're going for a reasonable price headphone collection, I think this should probably be in it. Certainly from the sound staging. Sound staging is very good for a headphone in this kind of price range. Nice. I don't know if I've learned much from these, but certainly get the angled driver. I think that really helps with the sound staging. Open back. So yeah, sound staging, good for like 100 and something quid. 50mm driver gives you some bass, but sub bass seems to be lacking. I think I should have got the 770s down, but the 770s do have a better bass, and they've got 53mm driver, so similar kind of size, but the driver does produce bass more accurately than the Philips one. But I think the magnet's a bit smaller on these ones, so I think the magnet's a little bit bigger on the DT770 ones, and maybe a little bit of tweaking, as I say, adding a bit of weight here and there to give that driver something to push against might help with the very low frequencies as far as accuracy goes. So yes, let me know. Have you got some Philips Fidelio? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Let me know. Is there a big modding community for these? So anyway, yeah, it's been great hanging out, and I will see you guys again, probably at our Christmas party, which should be coming up in the next couple of days. All right, bye.